Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome. Oh man, I can't sing. Anyways, welcome back. This is All Gas, No Trash. My name's Adam, and yeah, we got a new episode for you. And we have to be talking about music, so we have a new band that we're going to be discussing, which is Actress, and we will share more information with you shortly. But before we do that, I just want to give a quick shout out to those of you that have been viewing our videos and subscribing to our YouTube channel. It is much appreciated. And we also have Jelly Haha's debut album that's going to be releasing this week, and we will be reviewing it. So be on the lookout for that. I'm not sure when when we are going to be recording it. Just be on the lookout for it. But that is the Game Rage Magazine No Curse Minutes. So, anyways, let's talk about Actress, which is a band from Bellingham, Washington State. And I gotta say, I'm not really familiar with that area, but it is cool to finally find another band from the Washington area, or rather specifically Washington State. I've been able to find a couple bands. One of them is now defunct, or I believe to be defunct, which is Snuff Redux. Then there's Filth is Eternal, which is like a thrash band, and I guess they consider themselves grunge and alternative rock. And then of course there is Black Ends, the more recent new face to the Washington area, and they're based out of Seattle, quote unquote. Uh, as much as any band could say that they're from like the major metropolitan area, fuck it, man. I'm going on a rant. I appreciate the fact that Actress is saying that they're from Bellingham, Washington, because when it comes to bands and saying where their base of operations is or where they're from, they tend to go for like the largest major metropolitan city in their area. And when it comes to California, uh, a lot of bands say they're like from the Los Angeles area. So, and that might not necessarily be true. They might be from Pomona, or they might be from Riverside, or they might be from El Monte. And that's like 30 minutes away or 1 hour away from, Los Angeles proper. So, it is nice to see that Bellingham is quite a bit of ways away from Seattle, to the point that Bellingham is actually closer to the Canadian border than it is to Seattle. So I think there's a potential for uh, Actress to be the hallmark band from that area. And it's nice to see, or rather, it's nice to hear that there's another band from the Washington area that I've been able to find. And as far as the band goes, it is a four-piece band that it consists of. Well, as far as I can see from the description of the song credits from Spotify, Kevin Garcia and Zach Zions, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, are kind of the what I believe to be the primary members, because it credits them as the writers of the music. And of course, there's a woman who is the lead guitar player. Her name is May Rodriguez, and there's one person that is not part of the group, but has worked as far as a producer in the production of the music itself, whose name is Eric Takuichi Wallace, who is the producer of Actress. That I have a really interesting point to make about him. So he has worked on the two singles that are available from Actress, and on his website there is something that he adopts as his philosophy, which is called Shibusa, or Shibui, is a Japanese concept that refers to a particular aesthetic of simple, subtle, and unobtrusive beauty. And, that rings similar to the way that Rick Rubin works. A very hands-off producer where yes, he is in the room with them, but he tries to bring out the best out of the band as opposed to putting his stamp on their music. I think that's a very interesting approach, and maybe that comes across in the music, or at least maybe to me it does, which we will be talking about. Um, the first song that we're actually going to listen to is called Inside, which is the earliest known single, or the earliest one that I can find on Spotify. And we'll go ahead and listen to it, and we'll start talking about the notable comparisons of artists and maybe some of the genres that uh, Actress belongs to. But anyways, we're gonna listen to Inside from Actress, and we will be back in a quick second. So that was Inside from Actress, and well, let's talk about the music. So the most obvious comparisons that come to mind are definitely the Strokes. I mean, this song kind of sounds like a B-side from the Is This It era of the Strokes. And I would even say it kind of, the vocalist is loosely reminds me of like Julian Casablancas, but I even dare to say that there's maybe even like a loose comparison to a band called the Kaiser Chiefs. That quirkiness in the vocals to hit, falsettos and the lower notes, and the dynamic range and energy. It's like you're stepping on a gas pedal and taking it off, and it's that whole array of feelings and the way the lyrics are delivered that kind of remind me of the Kaiser Chiefs. But yeah, I guess as far as more contemporary artists, the ones that I can think of are actually, I'm not the hugest fan of this band, but I guess you could say Shirley Tempo from Southern California is an example I can think of that would play well or would be great on a bill together. And there's even a band that some of you may already know, which is the Red Pears from El Monte. And I think if there was a chance to put a bill together, especially in a show in Washington where Actress could play a support for a band like the Red Pears or even Shirley Tempo, I think they do great together. And I mean, I think this group is really interesting. I don't know where they'll end up. It's obvious that they have the lo-fi rock type of sound or garage rock type of sound that some the bands that we were talking about earlier, like the Strokes, and I would even dare say that the next track that we're gonna listen to kind of resembles another band from the 2000s era of like alternative music, indie rock, I guess you could say. So we'll go ahead and listen to Skin from Actress, which is their latest release. And, we'll talk more about the music. And in the meantime, we'll listen to the tracks. So this is Skin from Actress, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. That was Skin from Actress. And as far as the comparisons that I can think of, aside from the ones that we already talked about, the other band that comes to mind from the 2000s era is definitely Interpol. The tracks that come to mind specifically from Interpol's catalog are from the album called Antics, which came out, I think, in 2005, if I'm not mistaken. And it's not really so much the tracks that everybody knows, which would be Evil and Slow Hands. The tracks that I'm actually thinking of are Narc, Take You on a Cruise, and Come Here. I think what they have here is something of a jumble or mix between the Strokes, like the early era of the Strokes, like Room on Fire and Is This It, plus Interpol's Antics, and then you have like the erratic and perhaps even eccentric nature of Kaiser Chiefs mixed in, all done in the actress flair or style. And you have a really interesting group from Bellingham, Washington. And yeah, I think this is a real interesting band. And it's great to hear another great group from the Washington area besides the two that I know, which are Black Ends with their brand of music called gunk pop, and of course Filth is Eternal, and now Actress. So I don't have much to add. I just wanted to introduce you to this band as I think that they're, really interesting, and hopefully you check them out if you're from the Washington area. Hopefully they come down to Seattle. So for those of you that can't venture out to Bellingham to go see them perform, hopefully they start rising through the ranks and are able to tour locally. But anyways, that's all I have to say about the band, and thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you all on the next episode.